Peace. What's up, bro? What's up? Come on in here. Come on in here. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom, fellas. Come on in here. This thing should be full. Should be flooding. Wait for some more people come up in here. Wait for some more people to come up in here. Before I start dropping this knowledge. 11th Amendment. Suits against state officers. I know it's a lot. It's some dudes that love child support though. I read a comment the other day. A dude put, "I pay $500 a month to keep her away from me." He go $500. Man, you a stupid motherfucker. You get no bitch no $500 to stay away. How about not give her nothing to make her stay away? Put a restraining order on the bitch, right? Move out the state, nigga. Whatever happened to that shit? Hmm? Hmm? Whatever happened to that? You got niggas trying to prove other niggas that you can be a fuck boy too, like them, right? That makes you a man because you know, nigga, that's your decision to pay child support. Just like it's your decision to pay your bills on time. Fuck out of here, nigga. These niggas making up, trying to give you mommy ideas. Shit. I don't talk to no niggas who think like they mama. Niggas think like they mama. Well, I'm finna start here in 10 seconds. Everybody else will drag on in here. Let me put this shit up. Let me present this stuff. Sham stoppers. Ho! Let me present it right now, fellas. Y'all see that? Let me make it a little bit bigger. Ways around the 11th Amendment suits against state officers. Osborne versus the Bank of the United States, the Supreme Court concluded that the 11th Amendment precludes suits against a state only when the state is actually named as the defendant in the litigation. You cannot say you finna sue whatever state you live in and take them to the federal district court where you at, fellas, because they're gonna hit you with 11th Amendment. Now, when you're suing an individual in a official capacity, that's different. You're not suing the state, right? But that's the first defense they're gonna try to get. And I'm just giving y'all ways around to knock this shit out with this. If you want to do your federal lawsuit on your own, you're gonna need some help. I I advise everybody to seek some help before you start this shit up, because you know you ain't been in school for so long. You know you can't write a sentence. You know you don't know your 9 parts of speech. You're gonna need some help, player. Unless you're a quick learner, then you don't need my help. Okay, you won't need our assistance. Fuck help, assistance. Chief Justice John Marshall concluded that in all cases where jurisdiction depends on the party, it is the party named in the record that matters, right? It depends who you name in your federal court claim. Okay? Thus, the 11th Amendment could be circumvented by naming a state officer as a defendant instead of the state government itself, right? This principle actually was derived from England common law under the king, under which the king had sovereign immunity, but the other officials could be sued to remedy wrongs done by the government. Look at that, fellas. Although the general rule is that suits against state officers are not barred by the 11th Amendment. They are not barred, okay? So they can't use the 11th Amendment. But most of these people that work in this type of jobs, they dumb and don't know. They don't know the law. They have to go get a lawyer to defend them. The law is much more complicated. The ability to sue state officers in a particular case depends on a large extent on the nature of the relief sought and okay, hold on, okay. Well, it's only 3D. Hold on. And the claim presented, for example, suits for money damages to be paid from the state treasury are barred, even if the officer is named as the defendant. Also, the 11th Amendment prohibits federal court pending jurisdiction over state law claims against state officers. So you can't make a state law claim in federal court. You're gonna get that shit knocked out. You always, when you go to federal court, you always got to talk about the Constitution. What constitutional protected rights that they violate of yours. That's what the district court is for. Remember that, fella. That's what the district court is for. Okay? Hold on, let me damn. My bad, I didn't present it again. Ain't this a bitch? Y'all didn't even tell me. Okay, let's go. The claim presented, for example, suits for money damages to be paid from the state treasury are barred, even if the officer is named as the defendant. Also, the 11th Amendment prohibits federal court pending jurisdiction over state law claims against state officers. There it is, what I was just talking about. The principles are examined in detail in this section, which considers the ability to sue state officers in federal court. Subsection 7.5 discusses suits against state officers for injunctive relief in federal court. Monetary relief, suits against state officers examined in 7.2. Finally, exceptions of ability to sue officers are discussed in 753. These exceptions are included the prohibition against pending state law claims against state officers, the preclusion of suits against officers to enforce federal laws that have a comprehensive enforcement mechanism, and a narrow exception for the suits against state officers to quiet title to submerged land. Because state governments always act through their officers, suits against officers are clearly the most important way around the 11th Amendment. Look at this remedy, fellas. What's up? Because state government always act through their officers. Suits against officers are clearly the most important way around the 11th Amendment. Ain't that beautiful? Fellas, remember the 14th Amendment, if you do a 1983, you're going to get it's going to be kind of confusing because you can do a 1983 in the state court, especially on the 14th Amendment. But we already know them state people in the state ain't gonna prosecute themselves. They ain't hoe ass nigga. Ain't no more integrity anymore, right? There's no more integrity. Shalom, Mr. Blue. What's up, man? Just reading this, giving these remedies out. Go check out Ex parte Young, fella, suit against state officers for injunctive relief. The 11th Amendment does not preclude suits against state officers for injunctive relief, even when the remedy will enjoin the implementation of an official state policy, which is child support. That's a state policy. Ex parte Young is widely credited with establishing this principle, and it has been heralded as one of the three most important decisions the Supreme Court of the United States has ever handed down. Like many states around the turn of the century, Minnesota adopted a law limiting railroad rates. The railroads and their shareholders believed that such regulations were unconstitutional and sought to enjoin their enforcement. The railroads and shareholders could have, stop sharing that, bear with me, I'm about to present it. We stopped on could have violated the law and raised their constitutional challenge as a defense to prosecution. The statute, however, had several penalties: a 2,500 fine for each violation, and imprisonment of the railroad's agent as long as 5 years. Thus, shareholders in the North Pacific Railway instead instituted an action in federal court against the company and state officials responsible for enforcing the law to prevent compliance with the limits on the railroad rates. Specifically, the plaintiff sought an injunction against the attorney general. Let me see. All right, I'm making sure that shit's still up there. Wait a minute. Attorney General of Minnesota, Edward T. Young, to prevent him from beginning any proceedings to enforce to challenge legislation. This is about railroad. Ex parte versus Young was about railroad shit, unfair racing, fraud, and all that type of shit, right? You want to be successful in this game, man, you gotta read, bro. You gotta read, bro. You just can't be accepting paperwork from people you don't read, you don't know. I mean, not that you don't know that can comprehend, ain't got no background, shit like that, right? Ain't nobody else putting this shit up on YouTube but Sham Stoppers. Nobody, the lawyers ain't finna show you this shit. Their job is not to help you. Their job is to get money from you because that bar card is a business license number to do business. Because court is a business. That's it. Ain't no such thing as a law this and a law that. Because we all can lay down the law. Animals lay down the law. Fuck out of here talking about a license to practice law. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You got a business tax ID number, nigga. You gotta pay taxes, whore ass nigga. Fuck out of here. The jig is up on these bitch niggas. While the lawsuit was pending, the federal district court issued a preliminary order enjoining Young from enforcing the law. Young, however, ignored the court's order and immediately filed a mandamus action against the railroad in the state court to compel his compliance with the state law. Hey, why Rick W ain't showing y'all this shit? Because he don't know. He don't read the policy manual. He had to wait till he get old to get his pension and start fighting. For all you motherfuckers listening to me, y'all share, subscribe like this. Y'all don't. All the people that love Rick W, go get a tattoo on your behind with his name on it. Go get a tramp stamp because this nigga ain't showing none of this shit. He over there being long winded and shit. He locked niggas up for child support. If you like Rick W, you love police shootings. Young Ben was cited by the federal court for contempt for this regarding his order. He was informed that he would be held in federal custody until such time as he dismissed the state action he had initiated against the railroad. Young petitioned a habeas corpus to the United States Supreme Court claiming that the injunctions violate the 11th Amendment. The Supreme Court ruled against Young, holding that the 11th Amendment does not bar suits against state officers to enjoin violation of federal law. Mm, mm, mm. Y'all see that? In reaching this holding, the court concluded that the state officers have no authority to violate the Constitution and laws of the United States. Hence, their illegal acts are stripped of state authority, and the 11th Amendment does not preclude such suits. The court wrote, the act to be informed as enforced is alleged to be unconstitutional, and if it to be so, the use of the name of the state to enforce an unconstitutional act to the injury of complainants is a proceeding without authority and one which does not affect the state in its sovereign or governmental capacity. It is simply a legal act upon the part of a state official in an attempt to use the name of the state to enforce a legislative enactment which is void because unconstitutional. Ooh-wee! Fellas, what's up? You don't see my face on here talking about yeah, this and that be famous. I'm going out to events, taking vacations and all that old hoe ass shit. That's what bitches do. Bitches want to be seen. I want to see ass and titties on the internet. And I don't want to see no niggas. If the act which the state attorney general seeks to enforce be a violation of the federal constitution, the officer and the proceeding under such enactment comes into conflict with the superior authority of the Constitution. Oh, I love that. And he is in that case stripped of his official and representative character and is subject in his person to the consequences of his individual conduct. Let me stop sharing it. And you wonder why niggas need help with child support, right? A lot of these niggas ain't over here. I'm not gonna, Let me present this next one. Has no power to impart him any immunity from responsibility to the supreme authority of the United States, nigga. Let me get on this microphone. Hold on, goddamn. Where that mic is? There you go. Y'all know what time it is. This is for all the latecomers. Don't call me asking me no questions. Everything is on the computer. Don't call me asking no questions. You call me, say, let's get this done. What can I do right now? Okay? You can do it yourself. You can pay somebody. You're going to either pay with your time or you're going to pay somebody. Should nobody be calling me asking no stupid ass questions. No more. Now they criticize. Thus, if the state government is acting in violation of federal law, pursuant to an unconstitutional statute, or otherwise, suit to enjoin the permissible behavior, may be brought in federal court by naming the state officer as a defendant. The decision to expatriate Young has long been recognized as a primary method of limiting the effect of the 11th Amendment and ensuring state compliance with federal law. Y'all see that? As Professor Charles Allen Wright noted, the doctrine of ex parte Young seems indispensable to the establishment of the constitutional government and the rule of law. Similarly, Professor Kenneth Cup Davis remarked from that day to this, Young has been the mainstay in challenging state government actions because state governments always act through the office of state conduct in violation of constitutional federal laws can be halted by enjoining the state officers responsible for executing the state policy, child support. Your baby mama and them. That's your baby mama and them. That is your baby mama and them. Okay? It's the bitch, the bitch, the bitch. She did you in like that. How did they know your name? How did they know your motherfucking name? How did they know your social security number? A fairy came down and told it? Jesus himself came down and told your business, nigga? Is Jesus a snitch? Wake the fuck up. It's just pussy. That's it. A bitch ain't got nothing else to offer but just pussy. Sham stoppers, ho! Now, what did we learn today, class? Huh? What did we learn today? Huh? Y'all can start a federal lawsuit any day now. Y'all done got everybody done got the remedy, everybody done got the prerequisites, all that shit. Real talk. I put the shit in your face. Can't nobody call me a fraud. Nope. Can't do it. You do, you look like a fool. You just show you illiterate. Niggas can start, y'all men can start a lawsuit on y'all own now. Federal lawsuit. And you better take your time with it. You better dot your I's and cross all your T's. Right? Because for one, when you go in there, what they gonna do when you do your federal lawsuit, they gonna try to change that shit. They're gonna try to trample their shit, take over your claim, right? But you gotta beat that drum. And you gotta let them know that, hey, this ain't your claim, this is mine. You gotta knock all their defenses out. Knock them out. Knock them out the box, Rick. Knock them out, Rick. Remember Slick Rick? Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Yeah. Well, shit, man. Y'all have a good day, man. I got shit to do. Peace.